Hello peeps, I'm here to tell you that the struggle is not real. The struggle is shit. So, it's a little bit of a controversial statement there. But what's the shit? You remember my beautiful drawing of the diamond, right? And the shit is the stuff all around the diamond. That's the struggle. The struggle is not real. Because the shit is not real. The shit is made up. It's a made up reality. Have you ever heard of H2O? I'm presuming you have, right? Most of us know that H2O is water, right? Well, how does it work? There are three elements to make a water molecule. Now, forgive me if I don't get this completely right, but this is coming back from basic science, or basic chemistry, I should say. So there's two hydrogen atoms and then one, or molecule, and then one oxygen, right? And these mix to create a molecule of water. Now there are billions and billions of molecules in one little piece of water, right? But this is what makes it up. Now, have you ever heard of three principles? Well, the three principles is what makes up your life, your whole life. So I'll tell you very quickly what they are. Mind, universal mind, ultimate mind, like we said, your inner GPS, it taps into that infinite intelligence. That's universal mind. And then personal mind, our little laptop right here, that has the basic idea of what's going on and thoughts and so on, right? Mind. Consciousness. If I asked you, are you aware? You'd say, aware of what? Well, first of all, how would you be aware of what I was talking about? You're aware, right? That's our consciousness. That's how we know that we are conscious. Now, we're not talking about conscious or asleep as such. That's the personal mind again. But we're actually, have you ever woken up and you said, I had a really good night's sleep, or I didn't even dream. Well, how'd you know? Because you were conscious, because you were aware of what was going on. On a very subconscious, we say, but that's just a way of talking about it's not right in our personal mind in that moment. And thought. Universal thought is the animation of life. Thinking is a production from thought. Like our personal mind is a production from universal mind, and our personal consciousness is a production from our universal consciousness. Now that seems a lot to take in. You don't have to worry too much about that. Just remember this: we live in the feeling of our thinking. So whatever we're thinking, when we attach to that, we attach the feelings to it. That's the heart-mind connection. But unfortunately, we've got it the other way around, most of us, right? What we tend to do is think something and then feel something. Now it can work the other way too, because it's almost basically instantaneous. Couldn't think of a word, that's good. But it's instantaneous almost. We feel something, we think something, or we think something, we feel something. They're completely interrelated. Now, I got this from, I can't do this guy enough justice. So I'm going to say it very quickly. Sydney Banks. He was an enlightened man. Take that as you will. He opened up to the universe, if you like, and understood things at a level that I couldn't possibly even contemplate. He wrote many books, I think 6 books in total. One is The Enlightened Gardener. Another one is The Enlightened Gardener too. but he wrote many books, and all of them are worth reading. But the reason I'm bringing Sydney Banks up in this is because he simplified life to its absolute principle. I mean, you can't get lower than a principle. And these three principles are like elements. You think of hydrogen as an element and oxygen as an element. And those three elements, mind, consciousness, and thought, mix together to create our life. A compound, you might say. And the compound is your life. Now, think about this, just like the lottery numbers, right? There's X amount of lottery numbers, and you can pick from those lottery numbers. But there are millions upon millions, might be billions, I don't know, of different strategies or ways that can come out. This is the same in terms of our mind, our consciousness, and our thoughts, our thinking. It can come out in all sorts of different ways. This is why we actually have a friend who is a twin. And our friend talks about their childhood. They both had the identical childhood. They went to the identical school. They had pretty much the identical friends, but as identical as you could pretty much get, right? In terms of how they lived. One loved their childhood. They absolutely loved going around. They moved a lot. And so they loved meeting new people, and it was just heaven. The other, I won't go so far as hated, but just disliked their childhood. They had negative thoughts, negative memories of their childhood. And they just hated the fact, or probably too strong a word, disliked terribly the fact of moving. They went to the same schools, they had the same parents, they had the same quote unquote experiences, but they didn't, because their formula, mind, consciousness, and thought, were mixing a compound that was different. That's you, that is. This is why we say that you live in your world. We each and every one have a different reality, a different world. Even though we think, oh, everybody thinks like me. No, they don't. That's like saying, I'm going to pick these lottery numbers and everybody else is going to pick the same lottery numbers, and that's going to be the winning lottery number. You ever tried that? That doesn't work out too well. We do not see the world. We see our creation of the world. Now, like H2O, water, it comes in different stages, right? And I say H2O because you have ice, okay? You have water in its fluid state. And then you have like a gaseous exchange, like steam or vapor, the clouds and so on. Well, that's almost, in a sense, how our life acts in a way, metaphorically. You see, when we're stressed out, we're materializing massively. We're looking at something and we're saying, this is the way it is, and it's always going to be that way. And we're fixated on how it is. If you're anxious, you're fixated on that feeling, and nothing will take your attention. You're just so fixated on it. That's making it into ice. This thing's never going to move. I'm always going to feel this way. That's how it feels, right? It really feels that way. You're not lying. You're not lying. It's how you see it in that moment. Other people are thinking, what's the big deal? It's okay. They don't understand. You're so fixated on that way of thinking that you're locked in like ice. You're blocked in like ice. Now, when you quote unquote come to your senses a little bit, you sort of step back a little bit. You get a bit more breath, because we stop breathing sometimes, or we're breathing, so erratically. But when we sort of finally come back to a little normality, that's the ice melting. We're in a fluid state. It doesn't necessarily feel great. We're sort of recovering from what's happened, but we can start to see a little bit more sense or reality in a bit more of a fluid state. Okay, that was horrible. I don't want to go through that. And I'm not great, but I'm not as bad as it was then, right? Get more in a fluid state. Well, when we get into, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking, if I was to say to somebody and they're in an I state, just breathe, it'll be okay. I'll be like dodging them, trying to slap me in the face or something. And I get it because you're so focused on that. It's like, are you crazy? You want to talk to me like that now? You know, when we're in a fluid state, okay, now I can breathe. Now I can breathe. Now I can get out of that state. And then eventually, if we're trained to do, which I'm training you to do, we can start using that nose breathing. And then go to the heart breathing through nose breathing, right? Breathe into the heart. Now breathe out through the mouth quickly there, but keep breathing in and out through the nose. You notice it's just by me doing that. It just slows everything down. When you're slowing everything down, you're going into that parasympathetic and you're starting to get into that more esoteric, you might say, or the gaseous exchange. You're going into the clouds. You're getting more vaporized, more gaseous, you know. Now you've got more beyond fluidity. It's so easy to change and to see the big picture. You see it all when you're in that state, in that green zone, the flow. You start to see the big picture. You start to open up. Your eyes open up. So this is where we want to go. How do we get there? Well, obviously through breathing. I'm going to show you another exercise too. But what I want you to imagine now is getting out of that pretense. A lot of times we think, well, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm not feeling anxious. Well, how does that work out? Not very good at all, because you're doing this. You're pretending, but you know that on the other side, there's really that anxiety. It's not the case. It doesn't work. Pretending doesn't work, right? But what I want you to do is, for the rest of your life, start letting go of the judgment. What do I mean by that? Don't put labels on it. Don't think this is anxiety. Feel the feeling. Hear me out. Not the feeling of anxiety. Now, don't do this in the midst of an attack, because you got to practice this stuff, right? You got to practice it over and over so it becomes second nature before you attack, get into the biggest stuff of your life, You want to just practice this now in a normal state, in a normal environment. And keep practicing it over and over and over and over again, because you want this to be second nature. So the first thing is feel the feelings, but without judgment. Remember, just the feelings. How can you do that? Oh, I'm feeling anxious. No, that's a judgment. You might say, well, it's true. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm simply saying it's a judgment. What do I mean by a judgment? You're labeling it. If it's a feeling, do you know that excitement and, let's say, fear, they're identical in feelings. The only difference is a judgment. So excitement and fear are identical in feelings. The only difference, probably, with excitement, you tend to breathe more, whereas with fear, you almost block off the breath, or you're breathing much faster than you would with excitement, because you're not fearful in the excitement, right? You're not putting a negative stint on it. It's only the judgment. So yes, could you change the fear or the anxiety into excitement? Definitely you could with practice. But it's even better to just take the judgment out, because you want to get into the parasympathetic. Now, I did mention, as I said before, use something, do push-ups or something, use the energy. So that's a good idea. Maybe first do something like that, but then just notice the feelings. Feel the feelings. Allow those feelings to go through your body without the fear of feeling those feelings, because that's what we do. We try and push it away, push it away. We're afraid of it. Now, looking at my eyes now. Just look at a spot somewhere. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. Look at a spot on the wall and just slightly up. So if you look at me, I'm looking just slightly above eye level. I'm looking up this way, okay? And you don't have to lift your chin or anything. Just look up just slightly above eye level, wherever you are, whether you're sitting or standing or whatever. Okay. Now, as you're looking at that spot, look as far as you possibly can to your left. Look as far as you can while looking at that spot. And as you're looking at that spot and looking at your left, look as far as you can to your right. That's it. Keep breathing. Breathing normally. So you're looking at the spot, you're looking left and you're looking right as far as you possibly can. Now look down to the floor. Now don't move your head or your eyes. Move your vision. So you're looking at the spot, looking at the right, looking at the left, and looking at the floor. Now if you can't see the floor, just look as far down as you can. That's it. Now, look toward the, remember, don't move your eyes, just look toward the ceiling as you're looking at the spot, right, left, and down. You're now in peripheral vision. Keep breathing through your nose, looking at the spot, the ceiling, the floor, the left, the right. Open your vision while still looking at one spot. That's it. All right, shake it out. All right, so that's peripheral vision. You notice how expanded your vision is? It's incredible, I feel. And this opens up your mind. Now, don't go for the most dramatic thing in your life because you have not practiced this. Go for something very mundane. Something that's bugging you. Might be you didn't like the taste of something or whatever it is. Just something mundane, a little troubling, not that big a deal, right? Because I want you to practice this. Now as you think about that thing, just notice your feelings. You might feel a little angst. Not anxious, but angst. You might feel a little, upset or disappointed, whatever it is, right? A little bit angry perhaps, or something like that. Frustrated. Now all of those are labels, by the way, but I'm just giving you for instances to just go to the feeling and feel the feeling. Now, let go of all of those judgments. Just feel the feeling while breathing in and out through the nose. That's it. And as you're noticing that feeling, look to that spot again. Look to the spot. And now open your vision. See the right as far as you can while looking at the spot. See the left. See the ceiling as far as you can. See the floor as far as you can. Open that vision. As you're thinking about that feeling and feeling that feeling. And notice how it's very hard to feel a problem in this state. You're feeling a feeling. Notice how you feel. Notice the difference compared to what you would normally think of as a problem. And now, while in that big peripheral vision, imagine looking behind the eyes. I know that sounds weird, but it's like a soft vision. So you're purposely extending your vision. Now go into a soft focus and notice how that feels. This is a beautiful way to get into the practice of eliminating the problem per se, and I'll do the dreaded quotes, the problem. Now, you may still need to deal with something, but what you'll find is a lot of problems literally are being disintegrated simply through you looking through those soft eyes. And what I also recommend is you start to get used to looking with soft eyes. It will take a little bit of practice and you'll think it's a little weird. But what this is going to do is get you out of this, what's called foveal vision. So you're locked in just one point and you can only see through that one point, right? Into more of a peripheral vision. Now, I exaggerated it, but with soft eyes, you can start to fall into it. It won't be a struggle to get into those soft eyes. You'll naturally start to go into that soft eyes mode. And what you'll find is your feelings start to dissipate. You'll be activating the gaseous situation, the gaseous feeling of your life, your three principles. So again, practice, practice, practice is absolute key on this one. Let me know how you do. Please, please let me know how you do. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm rooting for you. You can do this. It's gonna be life-changing, I promise you. Get rid of the illusionary shit. Open your mind, expand your mind, expand your horizons, and you'll find that your life starts to change for the better forever. I promise you. Take care. Yeah.